Hello. This is the first of the success stories with my coaching and mentoring and my beautiful clients. Let me just see. We're just going to add Florea in, and welcome to anybody who is coming on live. If you're watching the playback, welcome. There we go. I've done it the other way.
Hi.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
We made it.
Hi. It's been such an amazing build-up. Hang on one sec. I'm just noticing it's very hot here in Castlemaine. So I've got the aircon on and it's quite loud. And I've got the fan on because, it's hot. I've been melting because it's humid. So I thought I'll just turn that down.
I can't hear it.
It's like, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, you can't hear it. That's good. I can hear it. I can hear it. Welcome. I'm Eiran Trethowan, and I am a coach and mentor for women who want to live an extraordinary life. And this is Florea Nuthall. She's one of my clients. Hello. Florea has been a client for about, I think we're leading into 7 years, which is exciting. Yeah, a while. So you've been on the ride. You've been on the Eiran spiritual ride. And today we wanted to really come together and talk about 2022, your coaching and mentoring experience, but also because Florea started her business at the start of the year as part of her up level in her life for extraordinary. And we want to talk about that. So she started a business with Juice Plus, which is I'll let Florea explain a bit more about it, but it's a vitamin and supplements company. And so Florea has immersed herself in that, obviously loving the products and very passionate about it. And we wanted to bring that all together today and then talk about anchoring in for 2023 and obviously talk about what's extraordinary to come, how extraordinary sits with you, and yeah, we're going to go with it. We have prepared a few questions.
Good.
Welcome, Florea. How are you today?
I am excited.
Good. Are you excited? Yeah, that's good. Because it's very, going live is a little daunting sometimes, but that's we have arrived. So let's just start. Let's just kick off with a few questions. So you have been coaching with me for a good 6 years or so, and you're working to move in. You are going into 2023 with me as well. I just wanted to reflect on your experience as the client of me as a mentor and a coach, and how that supported you. I mean, I've been with you through career changes, life changes, changes with people, in life, and obviously starting your business. So just where that lands with you and how it supports you in life, really.
Well, 6 years is a long time. I think when I first started with you, it was more for career progression, in terms of like what I was feeling at the time, dealing with, helping me deal with issues that came up with work. But it has evolved. Like I've also been with you and we've worked on family history, we've worked on career, I think we've worked on everything basically. But it's not like, but it's not like we've worked on stuff and then, I've learned and I've moved on, because things keep coming back. And I think when I started working with you originally, it was more on a 10 weeks at a time. And then I wouldn't work with you for a while, and then I'd come back for another kind of 10 weeks. So it was like I had learned a lot of stuff, and then when I wasn't working with you, I would kind of forget, go back into my old ways, and then all of these issues would come up again, and then I would come back to you. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster. But I think, you know, that's the value that I see. And I think this year, was the first year that I've actually worked with you throughout the whole year, which has been great. So more consistency, you know, regular catch-ups. And I felt like I haven't gone backwards to come forwards. We've really been moving forwards. I mean, we've come back a little bit, but I think I felt like this year we've really moved forwards.
Yeah, and I would say, I don't think you went back. Like, I think what happens is when you have an issue, the universe, if it's coming back, sometimes it's not, you know, everything's, and I like to use the onion layer analogy, but really it's also, the universe is often asking you to go deeper. So I think that this year, even if something did arise again, it was really about deep diving into it so that it really became more of that embodiment. So then you could really change the things that you wanted to change. And that's just what I saw. But that's often the case. Like, whereas when you go away and come back, then you do get a little bit caught up in your own egoic kind of stuff. So yeah, the long-term support is really valuable. So what, I have a few questions. What do you think, what is your experience in a session? Like, we've got different types of sessions. Like, you've experienced group, you've experienced one-on-one, and we also do one-on-one Voxer and group Voxer. So what is your experience around those things, and how do they support you in your success, really? Because you've come a long way this year, and you have had some great successes.
Well, all the sessions I feel are very different, and I get different things out of them. You know, our one-on-one sessions are probably where I get the most value, because we delve a bit deeper into things that are coming up for me at that time. Whereas with the group sessions, I think the group sessions are great because, I mean, there are other people in there. There's different kinds of energy, and so they just flow differently. But I get stuff, you know, I get things and aha moments out of all of them. I just think in terms of our one-on-one sessions, I get like actionable points that I can actually go forth and implement, whether it's directly in my business or with my career or with people. The Voxer sessions have been interesting this year. I think this year's the first time we've done the Voxer sessions. And I think they've been good because it's not a committed amount of time. Like, we're not sitting there in front of each other for, you know, 2.5 hours, where it's all throughout the day. So I can go about my day and we can Voxer each other. And then, you know, if I'm busy, I'll come back to you in an hour, and it just keeps moving that way, like all across the day. So it's a really different way of doing it, but I still get a lot out of it. So yeah.
And with the guidance that comes through in the Voxer as opposed to in session, like in session we might go back over stuff because I haven't seen you for, well, we do Voxer in between, but if I haven't seen you face to face, we might bring things that are in the moment now, or sometimes it's stuff that's happened. Whereas with Voxer, does that alleviate that so you can deep dive a lot more in your one-on-one sessions, as opposed to having to go over the time frame, sitting there, going through all the things that happened, and then, you know, using the time
definitely.
more
Because I remember when we used to have, you know, sessions every like fortnight, we would probably spend the first half an hour, 45 minutes going back on everything that happened since our last session to the now, whereas I feel the Voxers are really quick. You know, I ask a question and you basically answer the question or give me guidance, and then I go and do what I need to do and then report back on how I felt or what's happened. And, you know, there might be more guidance to come, or, you know, it's just much quicker.
Yeah, yeah. And did you, you know, in that experience, where was the biggest, like, the guidance that comes through is actually the way I've set it up now, because I used to be 2-hour sessions. Like, and I becoming a mum, obviously 3 years ago, I had to really change up the way I did business as well to fit with that, being a solo parent and not having that constant, you know, other person that I could borrow, you know, have the child looked after, that kind of thing. And so I really had to look at that zone of how a mother uses her time. And so I set that up as for Voxer to be that way. And so that we weren't in sessions for the longer periods of time, because I used to say, well, yeah, an hour's downloading all your stuff, and then an hour's actually to actually move and get momentum. Otherwise, I always find whenever I went into therapy sessions and they were an hour long, I was always like, I'm just getting to the good bit and I have to finish, like, which is why I used to do 2-hour sessions, whereas it taps into my genius of that multi-dimensional aspect, but it also, and that direct line of channel, but then also just that time and awareness that you have as a mum, and how that shifts for when you're an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, have a career, have children, and you're wanting to have access to something to support you through without having to sit down somewhere for 2 hours. Because I know a lot of my mums prior to that struggled with that.
I feel with the Voxes, when we do them, it's like having Eiran in my pocket. So I take you with me throughout the day, and I ask you questions, and I get answered, and I get the advice and the guidance, and I'm like, cool, on with my day. Yeah.
It's like the magic in your pocket. So what do you feel was your biggest aha over the year?
Oh, there have been many. I think the biggest aha this year, and what I've learnt and been very aware of throughout the whole year and implemented, is about, well, one, my human design, and how I work as a projector, and what that means in terms of how I respond to things, how I react, how I, you know, deal with other people's energies. And I think the main learning was that I was taking on a lot of people's energies just due to my human design, and I didn't know. You know, I was feeling sick, I was feeling stressed, I was feeling under pressure, I was feeling sad. And then when you taught me about, you know, asking the question about whether that was actually mine, and then doing the work behind that, and then sending the energy back that wasn't mine, it's made such a huge change. Like in terms of the sickness, it wasn't my sickness, it wasn't my pressure, it wasn't my sadness. So sending that all back just made me feel so much lighter. And it's a regular practice that I do now, because I'm at the point where I can now figure out whether it is mine or not. Because one moment I'll be fine, and then the next moment I'll be like an anxious mess, and I'll be like, hang on a second, what happened? What happened there? And I'll figure out that it's, you know, it's not actually my anxiety, it's someone else's. So that has been the biggest aha moment. I think the next one most recently is, you know, about just listening to my body and stopping and listening to what I'm feeling rather than closing everything off and thinking. Yeah.
And what about the, you know, when you're listening to your body, and we do talk a lot about embodiment of what's happening and just really clearing out those energies, the tools that I've taught you, what's been the most beneficial? And, you know, even just at the end of our last session as a group the other day, we were anchoring into what we want to bring in to 2023 from an embodiment point of view, and just being really grateful. How does that now change your perspective on how you behave and what you do when you've learned those energetic tools?
Well, because I'm more aware of it and I know what's happening at the time, obviously I know the tools that I need, and a big big tool for me is meditation. So meditating and just sending back people's energies that aren't mine, and then doing breath work to kind of bring the feelings and the energy that I want in, and like really kind of grounding that in. I think that has been the main tool that I have used and continue to use. Like, I think that's a really big one.
And what through the coaching and mentoring inspired you? Because obviously we spent time together last year as well. What inspired you? Because I know at the time we were manifesting lots of things. What inspired you to start your business?
Okay. Well, I think we were working on it for quite a while. And yes, we were doing a lot of manifesting at the time. And then I think at the time I just wanted a different and a better way. We kind of come out of COVID and lockdown, and I was feeling a bit like Groundhog Day. And I just thought, do I want my whole life, like the next 10 years, to feel like this? The answer was no. So I started writing down what I did want, and what I've wanted for a long time, I guess. And, those things were, I wanted less hustle. I wanted more family time. I wanted to create my life by design. I wanted to achieve freedom, like feel free. I guess coming out of lockdown, we were like locked up. There was no freedom there. So I kind of wrote all those things down. And look, I've always been really passionate about health and wellness since, I was in my 20s. But I always thought I want to do something in that space, but I never really knew what, and nothing kind of came along. So I had these things written down, and then we were doing a bit of work around manifesting and grounding the feelings. And yeah, the opportunity came up, and I said no at the start. There were a couple of things that came up, and I was like, oh. So I said no to the Juice Plus business at first, because I had my excuse of, well, I don't have the time. Like, I've got 2 kids. Like, I've got a job. Like this, I was already busy as it was. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question in that? How did you feel about my approach with that? Because I do call people out on their, I want to say, egoic stuff. The word I would use normally because I'm live. But, like when I'm calling you out going, hang on a minute, you could do both. You can do these things. Like, how do you feel when I use my approach to do that?
Well, I know that my first point is resistance, and we've worked through that. So when, you said that, it just probably made me a little bit more aware, and I kind of went, all right, Flo, is the excuse really time? And then when I looked back at what I was manifesting and I had written down, the Juice Plus business actually ticked every single box. And then I went, well, there's no reason for me to actually say no. So I said yes.
You did. And how did you feel when you did it? Because, I'm all about taking leaps and moving through fear, because to have extraordinary isn't, you don't have to live the Kardashian life for extraordinary. Like, everyone looks at money as financial. It makes life more extraordinary. It supports it. But extraordinary has so many different meanings for different people. And, that drama-free living and that drama-free ease, like, that's also extraordinary. If you can sit in the chaos and make decisions and live your best life while the rest of the world's having a breakdown, and changing your energy to change the energy out in the world. What parts of you do you love about that shift in the energy of making the decisions, taking the leaps, like shifting those little fears, but also sometimes walking just straight through the fear, like going, you know what, sometimes it is feel the fear and do it anyway. But a lot of the time it's just getting into a place where you feel like, hey, I can I can do this. Like, this is something I can do, even though there's still this, oh, but what if the doubts always still come? How did the coaching help you walk through those
look, when I said yes, I thought, this is what I've basically asked for. I've manifested this. I've written it down. I felt the feeling. I can't say no now. So I said yes. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, in terms of the business, I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to have someone tell me what I need to do, and then I'll see how it goes, and I'll see where I can take it. But once I started doing it, it actually brought a new energy into my life. You know, I was doing things that I was fearful of, you know, doing a live. I'd never done a live before. Being in front of the camera is not comfortable for me. Putting myself out there on social media is definitely not comfortable for me. But it was kind of moving through those things and just doing them anyway, and taking some inspired but messy action and just see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. And because I'm quite holistic, how did that support you? Because I've supported you in, like, because you know, my knowledge is far and wide. So I'm helping you from a sales perspective, from a social media perspective, from strategy, like from life relationships, you know, like there is so many things that you can touch into when you're in my coaching containers. How does that fit for you, and how do you know, how did that impact the way you made decisions and how to lift, like, just go, I'm going live, you know what I mean? I'm going to do that today, or I'm going to post more about my heart story and things like that today.
I think
that kind of stuff.
It's, you know, the reason why I work with you, and I've worked with you for so long, is, you know, you do know sales. So in my full-time role, I work in the advertising industry, and I worked in advertising and sales for 27 years. So you get that aspect of it, and you can provide some guidance on, you know, what I should be doing there, plus, you know, the feeling, the awareness, everything else on, you know, you have your own business as well. So you're a solopreneur too. So getting advice from you and having you be able to tap into the energy has really helped. You know, in terms of the advice, it's really kind of like a full round thing, because I feel like having, you know, starting your own business or just doing anything, you need to be really aware of the stories that you tell yourself. You know, I've got stories that I've worked through like everyone else has, but they never go away. They keep coming back. So when you're by yourself and you have to take this action, and you're fearful of going live on camera or putting yourself out there, or fearful of what other people will think of you, I think, you know, having the guidance from you to give me that guidance on being aware of it and then moving through it has been really helpful.
What do you think is most inspiring about it? Like that inspiration, that action, where do you think that comes from? What's the part that you get from me that gives you that inspiration?
I think the inspiration comes from your guidance, and then I take that guidance, we work through it. It's
intuitive.
Yeah.
It's intuitive as well.
And then I just do it. Like, I'm not going to move forward if I don't do the thing. Like, I can stay exactly where I am and be scared of doing it, or I can, you know, I think what we've done this year is we've taken quite a few leaps. It's like taking the leap and just seeing what happens.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the healing component, because I do healing, obviously I've introduced you to Tao, forgiveness practice, and also just in general, when you receive healings through working with me, whether it's in a group, remotely, face-to-face, you know, we have different versions of how that looks. We're obviously covering off a lot of karmic experiences, so past life, spiritual aspects, family, transgenerational healing, and then we're doing your own life healing as you. How does that impact you, and why do you, because not everyone has a different idea of what healing looks like for them. How does that land with you, and what inspires you to then move forward once you feel that healing? I know you've had a couple of experiences recently with Dow in particular from an illness perspective, but
I think that you've done healings across the board for a lot of different things, and I think that's the good thing about the healings. They don't have to be, if you're sick, or I think I've done ones for just before I travel to have blessings on safe travels for me, my family, my friends. I think after the healings, I can feel the shift. Like I can feel the grounding. And I think the recent one that you're talking about was when I had this cough, when I generated this cough after hitting a wall and suffering from burnout again. But this cough came up, and I knew that it wasn't a viral cough. I think everyone kept saying to me, I think you've got COVID. I think you've got COVID. I'm like, no, I don't. I actually felt like it was something stuck on my chest that emotionally needed to lift. So we did a bit of work on that, and through a Voxer, and then you sent me some healings over 3 days. And I've had the cough for a good 6 weeks. But after the healings, there were multiple, because it was a big thing to shift. I
think it might have even been 5.
A few days after, I actually
it was a lot.
stopped coughing. So, after 6 weeks. So, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, good. Oh, I'm glad. And I think, what does it, because I knew you had a spiritual aspect to it of getting something off your chest as well. So there was a few things tied into it from an energy point of view, and then also an up level from the healing, as in healing the cough. But then there was also the other back end of why the cough was there. And do you feel that shifted? You got that off your chest,
yes,
and now you can move
definitely
forward differently?
I think it was a huge block, because it was me blocking that feeling for a long time. So when that shifted, I definitely felt like the cough moved, and I know what I was feeling was also linked to my son, who also had a cough for 6 weeks. So energetically, we were mirroring each other. So you gave him some healings as well. And I think we've both felt a lot better since then.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm so glad. I love that combination of the coaching and the healing together. It's really, and the spiritual training tools that I offer. But the healings are really miraculous. The things I've seen myself, with my own energy, because I obviously give myself healings. And then I have healings from my lineage holders as well. Okay. So let's shift it up a bit. We're going to talk about, what are you expecting for yourself in 2023 from your coaching and also from your business? So there's 2 aspects.
So the first aspect is, I'm expecting more magic to happen, more up levels, because I'm working with you again for the whole year, which I'm super excited about. Just more, the support, the guidance, more up levels, me leaving behind more crap.
We all want to do that. Let's all leave behind more crap.
So that's what I'm looking forward for next year with working with you. In terms of my business, this year was probably the first year of my business, and probably half of the year at the start I was just dabbling in it. It was a bit of a side hustle, but probably at some point throughout the year I actually thought, wow, this could actually be a really good opportunity if I treat it like a business and not a side hustle. So that in itself created a shift. And in terms of next year, I'm just looking forward to growing the business, helping more people up level, their health, doing more things that I haven't done before, and just cementing it a little bit more, because this year was a bit like, oh, I'll just dabble into this, I'll try that. But I think next year is really treating it like a business.
Yeah. When we talked about that a lot, because obviously I deal with leadership, especially as a woman in leadership, and the different energies and the dynamics in that. But that movement, stepping in from a side hustle to I'm owning this as the leader of my business, as the CEO, as the woman who's going to stand in that and be in your sovereignty and really own, you know, we talk about archetypes a lot, but really owning that queen archetype, that energy of this is who I am and this is what I want to live and the type of life I want to live. How did you feel in that transition, just from, you know, this was a side hustle to this is, no, I'm owning this?
Well, I think that I felt the shift when it was like, okay, this isn't just a side hustle that I'll do when I can do it, you know, on the off days, on the weekends. It was really putting in more energy and more intention into it, to thinking, you know, this is actually an opportunity that can bring me closer to what I've been manifesting in terms of the freedom that I want in my life, spending more time with my kids, you know, getting away from like the hustle. So I think the feeling was like excitement. It was like, okay, this is a real opportunity, and if I can take it somewhere, and if I can take it to where I want to take it, it could actually change our lives.
Yeah, and the thing that shifted a lot for you on that, moving into that like leader in your business, was really about, because I offer that drama-free, ease-free, you know, like ease, that level of, it doesn't have to be hustle and it doesn't have to be hard. You can do things quite easily. And so I know a bit of your shift in the second half was around, you know, not falling back into that, got to do this thing, I've got to get, haven't got enough time, haven't got to, you know, like you can feel the energy is really fast. Whereas that shift at the end was like just dropping deeper into slowing things down actually brings manifestations in quicker. How did you feel in that experience? Because I know it was deep work.
It took a lot of work. And it's still continuing, because I've been such a doer for such a long time. And it was funny this year when I, you know, was working in the business and working full time and doing all the things, doing my coaching. I thought that, hey, I'm doing this, like I'm you know, I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing my business. And I thought that was a good thing, until I hit the wall and realized that, you know, I was literally working for 18 hours a day and doing it for 18 hours a day and not resting. So I think where I had to do the deep work was really to just do nothing. So I did nothing, and that was super hard. I didn't, you know, for a couple of weeks, I didn't do the business. I didn't do any trainings. I just tried to do as least as possible, but I didn't feel like doing it either. So then I just thought, you know what, the little voice inside my head was, hey, you need to get back into your business. You need to do, you know, check your emails. And it just took so much energy to say no, until I felt like I wanted to do it. So when I felt like I wanted to do it, I feel like I've come back and I've done it differently. I haven't done what I've been told I need to do every day. I've just done what I felt I need to do every day. And in terms of speaking to people and connecting with people, I just go with the feeling and go with the intuition.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And does that make it easier for work-wise? And has it shifted, like not doing it faster? Have you noticed change in the results? Are more people coming in to talk to, or is it different people?
I'm actually talking to more people before than I did when I was doing it every day. And I feel like the conversations I'm having with people are deeper conversations, whereas before I was just like, talk to this person, talk to the next person, like it was like a to-do thing. Whereas now and you know, I just sit down, and if I don't feel like I want to connect with anyone at that time, I just don't. And it has actually, doing it that way, just created more space. It's actually created more space in my day. Like before, when I wasn't spending time with my kids, I wasn't spending time with my husband, because I literally worked all day, got onto trainings, then worked on my business until I went to sleep. So now, I'm actually spending more time with the kids. We're having dinner together. Like, it was terrible. Like, we'd never have dinner together because I was always on a training, and they would bring my dinner in to me. I was spending more time with my husband, and it just feels more relaxed.
Yeah, that's great. And that's a beautiful place to anchor in for 2022, and then bringing it into 2023. So you are very passionate about Juice Plus. So I'd love to hear where, you know, you're headed for 2023, what kind of women that you're calling in to work with that, and just what your focus is in that for 2023. Because you know, I can't talk Juice Plus because that's your passion, and I think it's a really great, you know, product. It's beautiful. I'm just getting my 2.5-year-old to try the veggie. Yeah, I know. It's taken her a while. She's kind of going off and on it, but we're getting there. It's like, come on. So sometimes it is a process, and that's part of it, isn't it? It's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing to create change. Sometimes there is a process, and you have to allow the space for everybody to go through their process with your products and you know, like me with my services. So tell me.
I would love to just share the products with women who want to up-level the health of themselves and their family. I mean, I started on the products first, and I absolutely love them. Like, even if I wasn't doing the business, I would still be on the products, because I've seen how easy it is to, like, my boys don't eat fruit and vegetables at all. So for me, the products are a real drama-free way of getting fruits and vegetables, more nutrition in their diets without any complaints. So it's a huge, like, mum hack, I call it. So I just want to share that with other women who are experiencing the same thing, you know, who you know, might feel guilty that they're not actually getting the nutrition in their kids that they want to. If their kids don't eat fruit and veg, if there's drama at dinner times, to do that. Like, I just want to share how my experience with the products and see whether it could be for them. You know, in terms of the business side, I would love to attract and work with, you know, other women who are seeking that freedom, who want to earn an additional income in and around their families and what they're currently doing. I, you know, would love to work with women who want to make money while they sleep. You know, it's exciting.
We're all for that.
You know, it's just, and women who think there might be a better way, or just want change in 2023, whether that be through personal growth or doing things that are a bit outside their comfort zone. You know, those are the people that I'd love to work with.
Brilliant. And tell me, what was your biggest achievement in 2022?
My biggest achievement by far would be buying our investment property, which we did in August. But that was a whole, like, the reason that is also another one of the biggest achievements is because I manifested that. Like, everything I manifested happened as I had wanted it to happen. You know, I followed, you know, all about your teachings and your guidance, like Manifesting 101, wrote it down, wrote exactly what I wanted to happen, felt into the feeling. And buying an investment property normally for me would be a super stressful thing, because money is, you know, one of my stories. But it was the easiest process. Everything flowed. Things just happened one after the other. And I was like, this is how everything should be. This is how everything should happen. Yeah.
And 2023 is going to be the year when everything flows like this. Even when there's chaos, you can still sit in the drama-free life, let me tell you. So one more question before we go, because we've been on here for 40 minutes, and I love speaking with you, and love working with you. Like, I love that my clients, you know, the long-termers who stick around, and even the ones who come in for a bit of action and then off they go on their own, you know, journey. I love that experience that I get to share and the connection that we get. And I mean, we knew each other prior to my coaching from our advertising live, which is how we came together. So there was always a love. But, you know, that love grew, and the support, and, you know, my containers give you the chance to really explore an extraordinary life. So I want you to think about tell me what is an extraordinary life to you, and how does my coaching and mentoring give you the space to actually explore that?
My extraordinary life is freedom. Like, to me, when I think about it, it's like slow mornings, waking up, sitting outside, meditating, journaling, working the hours I want to work, not the 9 to 5, spending time with my kids and my family, traveling, just doing all the things that make the memories and give you experiences, so that, you know, at the end of my life, I can look back and be totally like, wow, I lived such a great life. I had so much fun. I was so happy. There was so much joy. And I think working with you, like, you know, that's what I'm working towards. So all the guidance, all of our sessions, everything, you know, all the manifesting is leading to that goal.
Yeah. Yes. So excited. It's like, my passion is like, women living extraordinary lives, making a shitload of money. Sorry, Instagram, you know, living a life that's meaningful and fulfilling for them, as well as, you know, getting support that you may not get, because I work from all levels. Like, I'm a multi-dimensional being. I bring that to the table. Having that extraordinary life for the women who I coach is really important to me, and that's why I do it, because those women are the ones who change the world and will change the world. I think it was predicted by Nostradamus that leaders will change the world. So I'm so grateful that you came on with your success story, and I'm looking forward to 2023 with you. And if anyone has any questions about Juice Plus and any of their products, you can direct those to Florea. And if anyone has any questions about coaching and mentoring, you can direct those to me. And we are available up until Christmas Eve, and then leading into the new year. So we're still available to, you know, we're open, and we're looking forward to working with our soul aligned women and bringing those women into our communities, and really looking to share the extraordinary life that we are building for ourselves with other women, so they can build theirs and share that with other women as well. So thank you, Florea.
Thanks for having me on as the first guest. So exciting.
I know, it's so exciting. Yeah, definitely exciting. And it's a first, because we always like to be firsts. And I'm a bit of a first person. I like to be, what is that, in my advertising days are coming in, you know, for early adopters. Our clients are early adopters who like the best technologies, which is energy technology, let me tell you, to change your life. So blessings to you, and
thank you.
Have a beautiful Christmas and New Year.
We'll speak very soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.